Hi everyone, and welcome to your Beach Volleyball Mobility Warm-up. So we are going to start with prone press-ups or repeated extension and lying to open up the low back. Our bodies live in flexion, and this is probably the most important exercise we can do every day to keep our spine balanced. So mobility is so important for many reasons and is just as important as strength to help build power and agility as an athlete. So we're doing 5 reps there, and now we're going into a modified child's pose with our knees wider than our hips. Lean back into that stretch and then come back into that extension. Lean your bottom all the way back and then into back extension. So this helps to open up the low back and the hips, especially with those knees a little bit wider than your hips. You open up the hips into that external rotation. Now we're coming into tabletop and doing a cat-cow to really focus on that thoracic spinal mobility and do flexion and extension, which is super important for all volleyball players to get full range of motion and decrease risk for that shoulder injury. Now we're going to come into a thread the needle, but we're going to modify it by putting one leg out straight, so we stretch the inside of our thigh, the groin, or the adductors. So you reach towards that leg that is long and then reach up as high as you can to open up that thoracic spine and again open up the shoulder. We're going to do 3 reps on each side. So think reaching in and then think long arm, reaching up as far out as you can. So this is a great modification because it helps to get more of the inner thigh, it gets the shoulder, it gets the mid-back, a little bit of everything. Now we're going to come into a half kneel position for an open book. So this helps with the thoracic spine and also with shoulder mobility and activating our posterior chain. On the last one here, I'm just doing a rainbow to get the shoulder range of motion in all directions. Opposite side, just doing the open book. In beach volleyball, you use both arms, so it's important to open up in both directions and ending with that rainbow. Now we're going to go into an ankle mobility. So I'm turning my back foot in because it takes my hip flexor out of it in the back leg. So if my hip flexor is tight, it's not going to stop me from getting that ankle mobility. So I'm leaning as far forward over the toes and then lifting the toes up. Now we're going to switch sides and do the same thing on the other side. We're going to bring that knee or back foot in and really aim that knee as far forward over your toes as possible. It really helps to work ankle mobility and also strengthen that patellar tendon. And then lift the toes up to activate those dorsiflexors. Now we turn that back foot straight because we want to get the hip flexor. So you're leaning to that hip flexor stretch and then all the way back. That back leg gets a quad stretch, the front leg gets a hamstring stretch. And you can see I'm rotating my foot in and out to get all 3 heads of the hamstring. This is really a great all-around stretch as you're doing it. Good, we're doing 3 reps on that side, and now we're switching to the other side. So opening up that back hip flexor, tall chest, lean back. Now I'm getting that back quad, that front hamstring with that foot rotation to hit all 3 heads of the hamstring. If this is too tight, you can modify and not lean all the way back onto your heel, but this is a really great way just to get everything in your leg mobile and working well. Now we're going to go into what's called a 90-90 hip opener. So your front leg is at 90 degrees, and so is the back leg, but rotated the opposite way. Keep my chest tall, and I lean forward to open up the external rotations in the back of the hip and the internal rotators in the front of the hip. Now I'm going over to the left side, and we're going to do the same thing over here. So I am left leg and arm dominant, so my left side is tighter and stronger. So usually I'll do a few more repetitions here on my left side. If you notice the same thing, one side tighter, do not hesitate to pause and spend extra time on that tighter side. We want to keep everything balanced. Now we're going to do a full plank to activate the core and then back into a down dog with a foot pedal. This gets the hamstrings, the nerve, sciatic nerve, all the way down to the foot. And then we go to that plank, you want to tighten your core to get the abs activated and ready for playing. So we're going to do this 3 times. Go back, aim the bottom back leg straight, pedal it out. Really good stretch. And now we're going into what's called the world's greatest stretch. So you bring one foot up and then you rotate towards that side. Bottom goes back in a down dog, other leg up into that deep lunge, world's greatest stretch, and rotate. Again, all these movements are designed to hit a little bit of everything so you are ready and mobile when you get on that court. We're going to do one more side to the other direction. Reach back, up, get that thoracic mobility. Follow your hand with your eyes. And then now we're gonna go into a deep squat stretch. So getting down as far as you can, try to keep those heels flat on the ground, back straight, chest up, and then you're gonna come out and rotate just to get the side of your trunk. Showing you a different angle, come all the way down, feet flat. You can go to that prayer pose, it helps to stretch the wrists out. Hang out here for just a few seconds, then up and really reach, stretch out the side of your trunk. One more time, nice in that deep squat stretch. If you cannot do this, try to pay attention to where you are restricted. Is it your ankles or is it your hips? You might need to spend a little extra time mobilizing there. This next one is one of my favorites. It's called cervical retraction extension with a head nod. Everyone should be able to do this. If you are not, you likely have something going on at your neck, but this is a really good way to activate the neck, and it actually helps to strengthen our shoulder postural muscles. Now after doing that, we're gonna do an external rotation, or what's called no money, rotating our shoulder blades back, squeezing them together, pinching them. And now that we've opened it up, we're gonna get an internal rotation stretch. Think long arm, reach back behind you. Again, if you cannot do this, you're likely tight in the front of your chest. This is a really good thing to work on. A lot of volleyball players get over dominant tight in the front. We wanna make sure we are nice and mobile. You can see my dominant or hitting hand is a little bit tighter than my right, but I can still get it to touch. So if you cannot, spend a little extra time on that tighter side. The more mobile we are, the more power we also have. So if you need to, spend an extra few seconds on that dominant side. Perfect. Now we are going to end with a lumbar stretch in all directions. So our lumbar spine goes into flexion, it goes into extension, and it goes into side gliding. So we want to warm up in all directions. Same thing, if your back is tight in one of these directions, you likely need to work on your mobility here. We should be able to flex all the way down without pain, bend all the way back, almost into a back bend without pain, and then push our hips side to side. If you have discomfort, let your trainer, let your coach know. You might need to get looked at by a physical therapist. If you just feel a nice stretch, then keep doing it. This is a really good thing to incorporate daily into your warm-up. Thanks for joining me. I hope you got a good benefit and you get to figure out your body a little bit more. Help to unlock your full potential by making sure you are mobile and strong.